What's up, guys? Ken Kaplan here with the last of the J. Wilson Museum collection. We saved the best for last. There were 4 Carabellas. This particular one is the one that he did a complete rebuild of the motor from the crank up on a very low hour model. So the piston, the crank seals, everything's brand new inside the motor with literally 0 hours on it. He never even put gas in it and started it. We were the first ones to start it. We started it and ran it through 3 heat cycles. When Jay went through this bike, this was a no expense spared restoration. The original seat upholstery was in excellent condition, indicating a low hour bike, but he did refresh it with a brand new paint job, brand new set of handlebars and grips and levers and cables. And I think one of the coolest things on the bike is, do a real close up on the shock. These are the Red Wing KM X360 vintage shocks. You can't even find these anymore.
The helmet.
And if you could, the helmet's pretty badass too, huh? The shocks, the Red Wing KM X360s, these are the dual rate with the large heat sink on the bottom. That's what I'll call unobtainium. You can't find those anywhere online. The paint job done on the bike is absolutely stunning. It's original factory metallic silver with the red striping.
You don't see them done up like this. As a matter of fact, we see very few restorations on Carabellas, never mind done to this high of a level by a real collector and enthusiast with contacts to do a restoration to this level. You don't see too many $1,000 paint jobs on Carabellas, that's for sure. And if you get up close, you could tell the guys who put this one together were on point.
That's the frame and swing arm too, was painted to a very high degree. The tires are brand new, tubes, everything was done on it. The engine, to find parts for the Carabella is difficult to get parts for these because they only made them for, 5 or 6 years. Carabella was an industrial truck manufacturer with a plant in Mexico. That's where they made them. They copied the geometry of the Mako frame from this era, so they basically reverse engineered the Mako, and they borrowed some stuff from the Honda Elsinore also. Very similar design. The forks are B-Tor forks. They're a clone of the B-Tors. Actually, they reverse engineered them, so they're outstanding. The triple clamps are beautiful billet aluminum. Bars are chromed. The fit and finish on the bike is second to none, and this is the nicest of the 4. We sold the 200 and the 2 other 125s. We saved the best for last. So take a look at the expansion chamber on this thing too. It's got a little Stinger exhaust on the back. Wait till you hear the music this thing makes. Huge heat sink on the motor. The industrial style finning, radial fin head, harkens back to the Mako era. So just a really cool piece. Serial numbers are on the steering head right here. It's an MXR, it stands for MX Racer, serial number 120483-6-74 was made. I believe this is in June of 74 was the date code of this. So they had refined the process. This was one of the best models they made, and it was competitive in its day, and certainly today it is a showstopper because there's just none of these left. We when we bought the museum, the entire collection from Jay, we displayed them all out in the driveway. If you look back in our video, we did a video and asked the staff, what are the bikes, if we had to keep 2 bikes out of the 20 bikes that were there. There was a Mako coffin tank, there were Pentons, there were Hodakas, some beautiful pieces. The Carabella, unanimously, the entire staff chose the Carabella as one of the bikes to keep in the museum. So this is the last to go. We kept it as long as we could. It's being sold to raise funds for the New England Motorcycle Museum. 100% of the proceeds are going to benefit the museum, preserve motorcycle history and technology. So
Jay had owned over 35 vintage motocross bikes, and we bought 22 from Jay. Not even his entire collection, but this is a guy that, well, he had a particular taste, and the Carabellas made up a large part of his collection. And the bikes that we got from Jay, these Carabellas.
Yeah, he actually kept several of the Carabellas, his race bikes, the ones he's actually racing. These were his museum bikes, these ones.
Guys, all I do is try and track down early motocrossers. We're always looking for these Carabellas. These are the first that we found since we started doing business here.
First time I ever started it, first kick. How about that, huh?
First ride of the day. I think it's a little loaded up. Well, he'll clear it out for you guys. Get it nice and warm, and it's starting to rain a little bit here, so I don't know how long he's gonna go out, and we're certainly not gonna take it off-road. It's way too nice for that. Might as well get this out of the way. If you need to get the bike shipped, message us your zip code for a quote, or call the shop line if you're interested in financing, or if you have any questions. 860-454-7024. We buy collections of bikes as well. If you have something you're looking to sell, call us on the shop line. Any make, model, or condition, doesn't matter your location. Shoot us some photos and we'll make you a cash offer. Bring it in! Bring it in! It's raining!
Bob, this is exhaust mode. This thing runs like a dime piece. This has a PVI ignition in it. I'm 99% sure. I will double check that, but Jay told me he put a PVI ignition in the Carabelas, and I'm 99% sure he did this one too.
Why did he do that? Well, it's a massive upgrade, the electronic ignition.
It's like a $600 upgrade. They're super expensive.
Why is it that expensive? You got to ship the motor out to Ohio to PVI to have them custom build it for this engine, because
So there's no points.
there is no points anymore. There's nothing to adjust. A little more to the left there. There you go, Claps. And it's an extremely expensive.
I'm a little bit larger than your average 125 rider at 6'2". With all my gear, I'm close to 250. So, and it hauled my big butt around like nothing. So, it just keeps on revving. It pulls really hard. Transmission shifts beautifully. The clutch and brakes and everything work great on it. Well, the thing I noticed first was how good the shocks are, because usually at my weight, they bottom right out. These shocks are awesome, man. And the forks are excellent too. The beater forks, really super nice. Just a beautiful piece. Is there anything you want to add, Kenny?
No, I think we just about covered everything. Guys, if you have any questions, again, call the shop line, 860-454-7024. We're still in touch with Jay Wilson. In fact, we have several interviews with him on our channel. He's an awesome dude, and he loves talking about the bikes that he built.
A clean rag, I want to get the rain off of it.
Yeah, my camera's soaked. So
It's the first time this thing ever got wet. I promise you that. These things never left Jay's living room. He did the frame off, full crank up restoration. Like I said, Jay didn't spare any expense on this thing. He put $5,000 into the restoration between the ignition, the engine rebuild, the paint job, all the components and parts, and time and labor. If you dropped off a bike and said, "Hey, this is what I want done to it," the whole thing restored, the paint job and everything, it's a $5,000 bill. So this one's done. You're not going to find a nicer one anywhere on the planet. It's on display in the museum. Every day people comment on it. Wow, thing's awesome. Never heard of Caravela before. But look at the paint. This is painted on number plates. These are not cheesy graphics. It's painted on with a pinstripe. Good luck finding a nicer one. Do a close-up with this badge back here too. This is, I can't read Spanish, but I think it says something about 7-time champion or something like that. Beautiful piece.
I mean, what's the body work worth alone?
Oh my God. The tank fenders and side panel, to have them painted like this with the graphics, you're easily gonna drop $750. And then just in the paint and body work and graphics.
Well, but then you're talking
Another 500 for
the
the
stickers and the pinstripes and
if you needed these are the original. Look underneath here. I want you to look underneath there. Look at the fenders inside here. These are the original fiberglass fenders. To even find a set of these fenders would be somewhat of a miracle. And if you did, they'd be extremely expensive. Also, look at this. Take a close up of this. This is the original Caravela Mud Flap. That's an NOS mud flap he got for it. Like I said, Jay didn't cut any corners. This was a labor of love. Jay's a very well-to-do electrician who had his own electrician business with employees and everything, so he was making a lot of money, and he invested a lot of money in his collection. He's a multi-time AHMRA champion motocross racer, so he knows quality, and when he rebuilds his bikes, he does it the way he would if he was going to race it. Red wing shocks, everything's done right on it, so no corners cut here. He only sold it to need money for medical expenses.
Jay's a guy that was totally obsessed with motorcycles.
His entire living room of his house, he had a beautiful brand new home, and the living room, the cathedral ceiling was, look back on one of our videos, you'll see he had a dozen museum quality pieces in there, of which I think he sold us 8 or 9 of them. So, and this was the crown jewel of the Carabelas. This is the finest of the 4. And the only one that had a brand new motor internals on it, crank up.
We work with a lot of collectors on a monthly basis, and Jay's been an absolute pleasure to work with. I mean, he always answers the phone, even after the sale. He's been lightning fast to follow up and or answer the phone on the first ring.
He's actually been on most of our videos, and we forgot to call him this. I usually call him. You know, it's not too late. Want me to call him? Can you put it on pause?
Try calling him right now.